even if you weren't cognizant when 9/11 happened. Do you remember distinctly that, you know, there wasn't blood, you know? Keep in mind your memory banks of the media of 9/11, over 3,000 bodies just in New York City, You never really saw, right, like the corpses. I mean, maybe if you dug deeper into the files, you didn't see even blood, even, the first responders who had wounds afterwards, there was just so much ash and fucking soot all over the place that you couldn't barely fucking, barely see. But there wasn't any blood. But the sounds haunt us all to this day, don't they? Do you remember? Of course you do. As if you were there. The sounds. The famous photo of the body falling in midair. We never really saw, the blood. The way, even recent stuff, the January 6th, like we saw some horrifying, like, visceral. But not 9/11. As traumatic as it was, we never saw, And that's why I think the conspiracy theorists, and, not the fucking rational ones, I mean the ones who think that it did never happen and it was all like a fucking, deep fake. Because it's like, it's the abyss, right? It's what it was, ultimately. All that smoke and that blinding light, It's terrifying when you really see what it is, man. Could you envision? Just 5 years later, if it was 5 years later, that people would have been live streaming from inside, people still might not have believed it. Total Depravity. Part 4. The bandage off my eye. Hey, Charlie, I'm pregnant, living on 9th Street, right above a dirty bookstore off Euclid Avenue. I stopped taking dope and I quit drinking whiskey. My old man plays the trombone and works out at the track. He says that he loves me, even though it's not his baby. He says he'll raise him up like he would his own son. And he gave me a ring that was worn by his mother. And he takes me out dancing every Saturday night. My junior year at Trinity, I lived Northern Towers, which was very close to Jarvis. It was sort of in the middle. Like, I don't know, like, was my buddy Samwise Lincoln got us that room. It was amazing. The view right near the fucking famous long walk with the Roosevelt thing. They don't walk over it, and the bishop doing his little, just a few angles away from a Nazi salute, and what's the fucking difference, and whose head was he pushing down? That's what I want to know about this bishop, based on what I know about Trinity. What type of bird mask was he wearing at those little Eyes Wide Shut parties that still go on there? That's not the point right now. I'm skirting around the issue, which is me. And the monster that is me, and that was me, and that can be me. And I think that it is in the hearts of man that makes it easier for me to put on these Eckelberg glasses and look, and be able to sustain a look. Trust me, it's hard. You only hone that from looking in the mirror. So I was living with Lincoln in Northam, and nobody liked that I was dating Renee at that point. The boys, who again, the band would dissolve and reconnect. It was, and me, of course, if I had a relationship, well, my time would go there, The late nights partying would be less and less, That's because I had Cleo. I had those Wednesday nights and those weekend parties. And I was social chair, so I had to be there, and a mess, I was dating Renee, and Samwise would still call me a fool, but I loved her. I really did love her. She had a way about her, Minneapolis, maybe it was the Dylan, I don't know, something French Canadian in me that bonded with her sort of Nordic charms, and she was beautiful. Like on the surface, her face, she was like Daisy, the face, and that's the thing, that's the. Some could even say she even said the same about my eyes one time. She said, "You have kind eyes." Well, I know you're not bad. You have kind eyes. I think at that point she was literally almost holding a knife against me. But I deserved it. Long story short, I would party a lot, and I was regretting Renee because people warned me that she was a little intense, and she was intense. God bless her. She was very intense in a way that triggered my anxieties. So I tried to drink it away, and of course, Monday morning quarterback. I'm like, oh well, the girl I dated before. Oh my God, what have I done? I made a mistake. Well, come on. And I'm thinking maybe that I can. I'm sorry, I've heard enough. And trust me, I heard enough from her stories about, So I figured I'd probably just pull it off. So that was my plan. I was young, dumb, and full of cum, as my father used to always try to say when he would talk about himself making mistakes. And now I understand that that was a code for full of junk. He was young, dumb, and full of junk, and more or less I was too. Again, the needle never hit my vein somehow. But I was, trust me, I was taking, and I was hanging around people who would do weird things, like things that even didn't make sense. Like they'd roll cigarettes and cocaine, cigarettes laced with Vicodin and shit. And, I'd be like I'd be blackout. So fucking shit happens, But there's no excuse. You should know that, especially if you're in a relationship with somebody. And Renee would party a little bit, but not like me, I mean, she was prescribed she would take pills. I think she was a little because of that. And again, this is a person who later was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia, and I'm not using that at all to absolve me. Heck, maybe what I did to her, the abuse that I did to her, pushed her to that breaking point. So that's no. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. Because the thing was, I took her virginity. Alright? And I shouldn't have. Because, she was the second person I would be with. I was not ready yet. There was no time. I should have taken a break and focused on my studies. But I was so fucking good at spinning so many plates that a part of me just said, hey, let's see, how many can you get, how many can you spin, but they just shattered, and I had no idea because I was dropping way too much acid. My sense of reality was getting warped, and my sense of morality was getting tested, and the demon that had always laid dormant inside me was now going like, hey man, time to fucking party, bro. And you can't make jokes. About what happened with her because, everyone's in that after Cleo meetings. I would go over there, and what did she say? She's, you were just looking for something to hump. I was. And, again, not to absolve me at all, but, I would get mixed messages. Sometimes I wouldn't want to go there, that I would want to just fucking chill and fucking party with my fucking friends, and, think about my ex. Secretly, I was beginning to resent her because I resented me, and I was projecting, But she knew that, so she would say, "No, but come over. No, it's fine." So she would maybe drink a little bit more than she would be accustomed to, and that would, of course, just make it worse. And because I was in such a fugue, I didn't realize. I realized. But when you're the villain in your story, and you create this myth about yourself, particularly where I came from a family of fucking bullshit artists and storytellers and liars and deceivers. I had lied to myself and thought that I was being a hero when I wasn't. I was being a rapist, I was being textbook, a rapist. William Francis Moffat Jr. guilty as charged. There's no using fancy words to absolve myself from that. And things got bad between her and I. They got real bad and spilled out, and I won't get into all of the details because you think this the stuff I said now is what I'm comfortable saying about her. Because trust me, what really had happened, the mind games we played, I'd sobered up. When everything came into focus, and I was going through withdrawals, alright? Because, like, fucking, not to fucking be the scapegoat, but fuck the scapegoat, fuck the dope boy. My plan been giving fucking me and fucking Samwise way too much fucking nose candy that was fucking straight hydromorphone, the one he was getting from that fucking nurse, and I was just in a fugue. I was in a bad state. I'm a bad man. Eventually I became good, better, but then we were still dating. The counselor, of course, was like, what are you guys doing? You fucking what? You doing what? Huh? Before the fall, you know. For a year we dated after that. My junior year was chaos and disorder in the house of the sad son. But yeah, eventually things just kind of frittered off. But I thought, I was so arrogant, you know. I still couldn't see. I just could hear the death around me. I thought I could keep going into my senior year, you know. But I'll get into the next part, the real darker days, you know. When, in hindsight, there was a lot more monsters and widowmakers that I helped make because I didn't do the right thing when I was given the opportunity to do so many times. Maybe for someone, for something that sees this, maybe it's not too late to say that I'm sorry, Renee. Wherever you are. You know, I always, even when I was, you know, would defend you to my friends who spoke ill of you, who didn't realize the full struggle that you going through with me, or with just life in general. You know, that's the thing I'm realizing now too with my epiphany about my parents and about myself and everybody else, is you never know what someone goes through, and even if they hurt you, even if they really hurt you, and I have to believe this because I have to love myself again. It's not because they want to. It's not because, you know, even the worst of us, even fucking Jeffrey Dahmer, you know. What happened to him? What happened to him when he was a kid? You don't know. And with this stuff about me, you would have never known any of this if I wasn't fucking Corona. None of this would have been absolved or atoned. I would have fucking kept thinking I could do it just on my own with keeping these stories to myself. But I know that I can't anymore. Which is why I'm so desperate to just fucking have people put on the goddamn fucking glasses and disobey for once. You know? What we've been conditioned to see. To just eat that. Resist the trauma of the and listen. Hey Charlie, I almost went crazy after Mario got busted. I went back to Omaha to live with my folks, but everyone I used to know was either dead or in prison. So I came back to Minneapolis. This time I think I'm gonna stay away. Hey Charlie, I think I'm happy for the first time since my accident. I wish I had all the money we used to spend on dope. I'd buy me a used car lot. I wouldn't sell any of them. I'd just drive a different car every day, depending on how I feel. Hey Charlie, for Christ's sakes, if you want to know the truth of it, I don't have a husband. He don't play the fucking trombone. I need to borrow money to pay this lawyer. Charlie, hey, I'm eligible for parole come Valentine's Day.